Hello, my name is Joshua Brown from the interview training company howtobecome.com, and in this presentation I will teach you how to pass your stakeholder management interview. So if you have an interview coming up for any kind of project management role or a role where you'll be working with stakeholders, then please make sure you watch this video from start to finish, because I'm going to help you to stand out and succeed. To achieve that goal, this is what I'll cover. I'll start off by giving you a list of stakeholder management interview questions that I strongly recommend you prepare for. I'll then provide you with example high-scoring answers to those questions to help you to succeed. Plus, I'll also make sure to give you some essential tips for passing your interview before finally telling you how you can instantly download these slides, plus 21 great answers to stakeholder management interview questions in a PDF guide. And just very quickly, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because I want to help you to pass your interview by giving you brilliant answers to the toughest stakeholder management interview questions, and I can only do that if you are subscribed. And please don't forget to hit that like button, because this tells me you find these tutorials useful. Okay, let's take a look at that first stakeholder management interview question to prepare for, which is, what is stakeholder management? Now, I have two tips for you here. First one, tip number one. This question is being asked to assess your capability to explain the fundamentals and techniques of stakeholder management, such as collaboration, active listening, effective communication, and conflict resolution. You need to make sure that you demonstrate to the hiring manager that you are fully aware of these skills and these techniques, and ideally that you have demonstrated them in previous job roles. A thoughtful response not only demonstrates your understanding of the importance of stakeholder management, but also your ability to successfully navigate challenging project environments, which is crucial in all job roles, particularly a project management based role where you'll frequently be faced with challenges. So let's take a look at a brilliant top scoring answer to help you. What is stakeholder management? When my friends and family ask me this, I always compare stakeholder management to the likes of hosting a large dinner party. You want to make sure that each and every one of your guests is happy, comfortable, and heard. The same rings true for stakeholder management. In project management, it's important to establish trusting relationships with all parties involved by being aware of their needs, being open with them, and involving them in the decision-making process. Each stakeholder's interests are taken into account and in line with the objectives of the project, thanks to a delicate balance of trust, understanding, and collaboration. We can collaborate effectively and produce amazing results if we foster a positive and inclusive environment. Okay, let's move on to the next stakeholder management interview question, which is, describe a time when you managed difficult stakeholders. This is a really tough one. So tip number one, you must demonstrate a challenging situation you have faced that you resolved positively. That's really important, that it ended in a positive result. As any kind of project manager or leader, you will regularly face challenges with stakeholders, and you will be expected to handle each challenge in a positive, forward-thinking, and collaborative manner. So my advice here, tip number two, is to structure your answer using the STAR method when answering any tough behavioural interview question like this one. A behavioural interview question is a question that starts with, tell me about a time when, or explain a time when, describe to me a situation when you face this. Any question that starts like that is a behavioural interview question, and my advice is to structure your answer using the STAR technique or the STAR method. So the STAR method stands for this. S is for situation. What was the situation you found yourself in? Then you go to T. T is for task. What was the task that needed to be carried out? A is for action. What action did you take to achieve the task? And R is for result. What was the end result from your actions? So let's take a look at a top scoring answer using the STAR technique to structure our answer. Describe a time when you managed difficult stakeholders. In my last role as project manager, I dealt with challenging stakeholders for a software development project. A new mobile application was created as part of the project, with the goal of increasing user engagement and the overall customer experience. The representatives from various departments within the organisation, who had varying expectations and priorities, were the challenging stakeholders in this scenario. Some of them were adamant about particular features they wanted to have in the app, but others were worried about the project's schedule and finances being over budget. It was my task to keep the project on track and manage all of the stakeholders' expectations. To do this, I communicated regularly with all stakeholders, keeping them abreast of updates, but also spending a lot of time listening to them to understand their concerns. I resolved any conflicts by facilitating discussions and finding compromises. I found that by finding common goals and using data and metrics to back up decisions, I was able to involve the stakeholders throughout and gain their support. In addition, I think being honest about the limitations of the project to manage expectations was also key. In the end, I was able to manage the difficult stakeholders and keep the project on track by implementing these strategies. The mobile application was completed on schedule, met the primary goals of the organisation, and was well received by stakeholders and end users. I am the type of person who will always display strong interpersonal skills and listen to all, as I know the value of diverse input. However, I will always keep the project on track and utilise my stakeholder management skills. Now don't go anywhere, as I still have more interview questions and answers to give you, but when you're ready, click that link in the top right hand corner. It will take you through to my website, How to Become, where you can download my 21 stakeholder management interview questions and answers for all job roles to give you the edge in your interview, and it includes the ones we're covering right now. Okay, here's the next stakeholder management interview question for you. How do you manage multiple stakeholders? Tip number 1. You will be asked this question to assess your practical stakeholder management approach and how you will handle multi-stakeholder projects, which are common in many professional roles, especially project management and leadership. Now, when answering this question, you really must give a top scoring answer to show the hiring manager your ability to communicate openly and transparently with stakeholders, involve them in decision making, prioritize their needs, and find common ground to align everyone's objectives. So let's take a look at a brilliant top scoring answer to help you. How do you manage multiple stakeholders? I always like to think of it as conducting an orchestra, in the sense that managing many stakeholders calls for harmony and cooperation. I place high value on open communication and strive to make everyone feel appreciated. I find a common ground to align our objectives by comprehending their particular needs and expectations. I involve them in decision making so they can contribute their knowledge and feel empowered to take charge. They receive regular updates, and I address any conflicts honestly while looking for win-win resolutions by fostering open communication and encouraging compromises when necessary. My strategy is based on openness, collaboration, and trust, ensuring a successful project for all parties involved. In my previous project management role, I regularly had to deal with stakeholders from various departments who often had different concerns that conflicted. For example, I successfully managed a variety of stakeholders, including the marketing team, sales team, and senior management during the launch of a marketing campaign. By implementing the strategies and approach I just mentioned, we produced a highly effective campaign that exceeded everyone's expectations, thanks to the trust, cooperation, and a well-coordinated strategy. Okay, here's the next stakeholder management interview question. How do you influence stakeholders? This is a really common interview question. So to answer this interview question, you need to share either an example of when you've influenced stakeholders or list the key influential strategies that you use. So for example, making each stakeholder feel like they're being heard and that they're making an input, or by using data and metrics to justify your decisions. So let's take a look at a great example answer to help you. How do you influence stakeholders? In my experience, the key to influencing stakeholders is developing connections based on mutual respect and trust. I actively interact with them and pay close attention to their opinions and issues. I give them a sense of being heard and valued by involving them in decision making and valuing their knowledge. I make sure there's open and transparent communication, keeping them updated on the status of the project and quickly resolving any problems. I can win their support by being open and data-driven in my approach, which enables them to understand the thinking behind my choices. Ultimately, I can effectively influence stakeholders and collaborate with them to achieve successful project outcomes by fostering a collaborative and respectful environment. Okay, here's the next stakeholder management interview question, again a really common one. How do you demonstrate stakeholder management skills? Now, tip number 1 here, this question is similar to the last question, but it goes beyond influencing, so you do need to come up with a different answer. Also, mention how you keep stakeholders updated and what you do to resolve conflicts among stakeholders. So here's a great example answer to help you. How do you demonstrate stakeholder management skills? To me, stakeholder management is all about promoting collaboration and trust, and I place high value on that in my project management approach. Every time I work with stakeholders, I am an attentive listener and I treat them with respect. Their worries, suggestions, and feedback are essential to any project success. An important component of my work is communication. I think it's essential to be open, truthful, and transparent. The project journey is made easier when stakeholders are kept up to date on project progress and any difficulties. An important tactic for coordinating everyone's interests is to find common ground. I try to comprehend their objectives and driving forces so that I can connect them to the project's goals. It's incredible how this strategy promotes a sense of community among stakeholders. I actively involve stakeholders in the decision-making process. Their knowledge and perspective are key, and I want them to feel confident in their ability to contribute to data-driven decisions. Last but not least, if conflicts happen, I don't shy away from them. Instead, I support open discussion and work to identify solutions that meet the needs of all parties. My approach to stakeholder management is based on the fundamentals of fostering positive relationships and instilling a sense of value in stakeholders. So in preparation for your stakeholder management interview, I also recommend you prepare answers to the following questions. How do you stay organized when working with stakeholders? How do you build strong professional relationships with stakeholders? How do you manage stakeholder expectations? What is your biggest weakness? What would you do if your stakeholders had conflicting views during an important meeting? Tell me about a time when you convinced a stakeholder to understand your perspective at work. Describe a situation when you had to use your initiative to solve a difficult problem. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Tell me about a time when you used effective communication skills to win over a stakeholder who was initially reluctant to your method of working. Okay, so the next thing to do if you'd like to accelerate your learning even further and pass your interview at the first attempt is to please click that link in the top right hand corner right now. It will take you straight to my website, howtobecome.com, where you can immediately download these slides with those great answers, plus a total of 21 brilliant responses to stakeholder management interview questions. It comes as a PDF guide, and that means you can have it in your inbox within 2 minutes from now, and it's guaranteed to help you prepare effectively for your interview and also, more importantly, put you ahead of the competition. Make sure you check out that link. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Please don't forget to subscribe, as I'm on a mission to help as many people as possible pass their job interviews, and I can only do that if you are subscribed. Please also hit that like button, as that encourages me to make more videos just like this one. If you have any questions regarding any job interview with any organisation or any job role, please let me know the name of the job role in the comment section below so I can get back to you with even more advice and interview tips. And finally, don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn. I've put my LinkedIn link in the description below. It's always great to connect with like-minded professionals such as yourself. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you all the best for your interview. Have a great day.